Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Happy to have you all watching for a new Frontend Love Meetup. Today we will have Siva speaking, and I hope you're all as excited as I am. Siva works for Sematext, and we try to do these Frontend Love Meetups multiple times a week. If you would like to be notified by it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I won't hold you any longer, so let me pull up Siva.
Yeah. Hi,
Hi,
Joseph.
Siva. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Thank you. Where are you joining us from today, Siva?
I'm joining from Coimbatore, India. It's in the southern part of India.
Cool. It's quite a distance. That's a beauty from these virtual gatherings. Of course, we literally meet
Yeah.
up all over the world.
Yes.
And today you're going to talk about solving front-end performance issues with synthetic uptime monitoring. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Nice. Could you tell a little bit more about it? A little introduction, or
So yeah, this we have recently introduced a new product in Sematext called as Sematext Synthetics, and this is mostly deals with uptime monitoring and performance monitoring of the websites. So this talk is about in general what are the challenges that we face and also how we can solve some of those challenges using Sematext Synthetics.
interesting? Well, I won't hold the crowd any longer and let them enjoy your talk. Have fun, good luck, and
Thank you.
please give it away for Siva. Woo!
Thank you. The As Joe said, the agenda for today is we will start with uh, we'll talk about what are the how to solve the front-end performance issues with synthetic monitoring. So we will discuss some of the challenges that the front-end developers face while actually collecting these performance monitoring metrics and how to interpret them, and also how that can be solved using a synthetic monitoring product, which is Sematext Synthetics, where we will go through overview of the synthetics and what and its capabilities, and also we will talk about how a typical front-end performance monitoring journey will look like how a developer will start, what should we start with, and where should we go, and where should we finally end up monitoring the for front-end performance, and at the end we will take some questions. So before we start the talk, some stuff about me. So I am the product lead for Sematext Synthetics product, and I work as a full stack developer in Sematext group. And I said earlier, I'm from Coimbatore, India. I work as a remote employee, and Sematext is a fully distributed company, and we develop tools for the developers for monitoring their front end, back end performance metrics. And my journey with software development started with working on telecom network management software systems. So this is basically monitoring the telecommunication equipments, and then in the last 3 to 4 years I moved to monitoring and log management, and in Sematext I mostly work on this. And I am also an open source developer, and I am the author of a LogTrail plugin for Kibana. It's a famous plugin for viewing logs in Kibana, and also I have a bunch of plugins for Greylog. And my front end journey started with Java Swing. I'm part of this 90s kids, so where I'm not sure how many people are aware of this framework. So this is like one of the widely used front-end framework for developing front-end applications in Java. And then I moved to Vardin, which is a full-stack web development tool with Java, and then Angular. LogTrail is written using Angular, and nowadays at Sematext I work with React, and also I work on the backend. So before we start talking about front-end monitoring issues, why is it important, right? So there are two things. One is downtime and poor performance. Both of this is going to impact the bottom line, right? So any website which performs poorly, as a user we ourselves feel okay, uh, not good about the website, right? And it's not just the bottom line, it also ends up having a negative user experience, and also the brand, the product brand suffers, and it ends up in user conversion. Not just that, it also end up reflecting bad on the SEO rankings and stuff, right? So uh, front end performance monitoring is important, but how do we start by monitoring? How do we make sure that we have less downtime and our performance is as expected? This could be done by monitoring. But when we think about monitoring, we asked developers via Reddit poll recently what are the challenges that they face while monitoring website performance, right? So the top two answers were the front-end developers think setting up these monitors, basically be it synthetic monitors or real user monitors, uh, they're taking time. Even if they spend a lot of time in setting up, when there is any issue, let's say there is a downtime, or let's say there is there's a website is slow in a particular area, part of the in a particular region, etc., they are not able to go easily debug, which means the tool is not providing actionable data so that they can go debug the issues and identify the root cause faster. So these are the two important issues that were highlighted by the front end developers. Now we will see how we can solve these things using synthetic monitoring. So before we go into the Sematext Synthetics product and its capabilities, we will talk about where this whole synthetic monitoring fits in, right? So in any company's digital experience management strategy, there are two things. One is end user monitoring, the other one is synthetic monitoring. So they work, they actually complement each other. So end user monitoring is actually monitoring how the website performs in the real user devices. Basically we collect the various performance metrics, and sometimes we record the screens, logs, etc., from the user devices, which means be it mobile phones or their desktops and stuff. So synthetic monitoring on the other end is where we have a predictable consistent lab environment where we run the various tests with user configured and collect the performance metrics. And one advantage of synthetic monitoring is it's going to run 24/7. Once you configure it, it's going to run every time. So mm, one way to see synthetic monitoring is it is like your trusted user who will keep continuously use your system, and when there is any performance issues or when there is a downtime, he'll let you know. And with synthetic monitoring, we actually at a high level we test three things. One is the availability of the website, the second one is what is the performance of the website, and whether the functionality is working. So by functionality I mean, let's say if you take a e-commerce website, the important functionality is basically searching for a product, buying a product and checkout, right? So whether this user journey is working fine or not. So these are the three things that we test with synthetic monitoring, right? And the other advantage of synthetic monitoring is end user monitoring can be done only on the production website because that's where the users log in. But with synthetic monitoring, we can do it even on the staging environment. So the earlier we catch these kind of issues, the better it is, right? So that's the advantage with synthetic monitoring. So now coming to Sematext Synthetics. So at a very high level, these are the four things that could be done with Sematext Synthetics. One is uptime monitoring. So first thing is my website up and running? Right, that's the first question we ask. The second one is, if it is running, what are the various performance parameters? Be it the page load time, be it individual resource metrics or etc., or and stuff like that. Then if my page is loading faster, are the various business critical transactions working fine? These are called as user journeys. So by user journey, what we mean is, as I told earlier, it is one click path that the user follow while using your website. It can be, say, let's say the user logs in, buy some products and check out. This is one example user journey. Typical web app can have multiple user journeys are like this. So whether these user journeys are working fine, or is there any some failure in that? And when any of these things fail, alert me on multiple channels, be it Slack, be it email, be it SMS and stuff, right? So this is the, at a very high level, these are the capability of Sematext Synthetics. Now let me, show you an overview of what you get with synthetics. So here if we see, we have multiple monitors configured. So by monitor I mean it can be a monitor used to monitor a single URL or a complete website. So if you see here, we have multiple monitors configured. Some are failing and some are passing, and we will get so this is kind of a synthetic dashboard for your website. So you'll get when the monitor last failed and what are the recent results of your monitor and what is the availability over 1 day, 1 week and 1 month. So you'll get an idea of that, and what was the average response time for the last 1 day. And also you will get an idea about how these monitors are performing in various locations. What is the current state of these monitors on these locations? So I think we support around 8 locations around the world, and we will be adding more locations in the future. And also here we get the recent fail runs, so that user can directly go to the fail runs and get the details about what exactly failed. So this is the overview of the dashboard of Sematext Synthetics. Now we will go in detail about HTTP monitor and browser monitor, and explore what are the capabilities that they provide. So HTTP monitor is used for uptime monitoring. So by uptime monitoring, what I mean is we can check whether whether the website is reachable, and if it is reachable, whether it is returning a proper expected HTTP error code. And also when we send a request, we record various performance details like how much time it took to resolve the DNS, how much time it took to connect and SSL, how much time it took to do SSL handshake, etc. So this will give you an idea about various timings involved while connecting to the website. So if there are any issues, it will be reflecting in any of these metrics. For example, let's say your server is kind of, say it's very loaded and it's very busy, then TTFB, which is time to first byte, will be large. So this will immediately give you an idea. Maybe if TTFB is large, maybe I should go look at how much server is loaded, or if there is any issue in the server. And if DNS time is large, maybe we can go look at the DNS provider, and maybe we can ask him, hey, is there any issue with in your DNS resolution? Right? And not just the performance metrics, we also collect the response data like header, body, etc. And if there are any errors while running this monitor, we collect them. So I have already created a monitor here. So I have already created an uptime monitor. So if you see, this one is used to monitor frontend developer love.com, and we are monitoring this website from 2 locations, Ireland and California. Every 1 minute we will monitor, and since it does not have any custom headers and query params, body, etc., we are not set anything. But if typically for any APIs and stuff, we have authentication keys and stuff which can be set. And these are the conditions that we expect. So we expect the HTTP request to not return any error, and the response code should be 200, and the metric, the response time should be less than 20,000 milliseconds, which is 20 seconds, and the SSL expiry should be greater than 7 days. Now if you see, this is the data we got. By default it will show for last 1 day. Let me change it to last 1 hour. So this is the data we got. So we got the response time from each location, and what is the availability, and what is the average response time, and what is the 99th percentile, and what is the 95th percentile. If there are any failures in this location, you can directly go to the failures. And we also have individual network timings. Now let's since this has been set up some time back, we have very less data. But if we go to, this was set some time back, so we have more data for this. This is a monitor which actually monitors google.com, right? So this is HTTP monitor. Along with the metrics, we can also monitor SSL certificate expiry time. So this SSL certificate will expire in 61 days. So if you go to, so This is the, and if the SSL expiry is less than 7 days, you will get an alert saying that, hey, your SSL is going to expire in 7 days, and the monitor will fail. So this is where your journey will start. So basically you will start by setting up a simple uptime monitor, which will just ping your website and record a very minimal HTTP performance metrics. So this is the basic requirement that we start with. Once you have this running, we can move to the next level of front-end performance monitoring journey, which is actually by creating a browser monitor. So the browser monitor allows you to actually monitor multiple web performance parameters like page load time, paint metrics. So this and also the navigation timing, like whenever there is a page navigation, it will try load various navigation timings, like let's say DNS resolution time, server time, etc. It's not just that. When we load a page, we actually internally load a lot of resources. Let it be images, let it be fonts, let it be all these things. It will actually record the individual timings, and you have those timings also. And we can also take screenshots of website while doing a user journey, so we will know whether when there is an issue, we can look at the screenshot and debug them. Not apart from this, if the website has any custom metrics which is not by default supported by Sematext. For example, let's say if it is a e-commerce website, we want to record time for autocomplete when the user searches some text, so we can record such metrics. And also if there are any errors while execution, we will have them so that we can debug. So now if we see, I have set up a browser monitor for front-end developer Love. So here this runs every 10 seconds from Frankfurt. So here we don't have, since it was recently set up, we don't have a lot of data. But if you see the script, what we do is we just launch the website and take a screenshot. But we can also do a lot of complex use cases. For example, we can so this script actually logs into Airbnb and select particular dates and try to book property in Sunnyvale. So, and also we can go do this script actually launches DuckDuckGo and searches for Google, and checks the first result in the search result and make sure that it is google.com. So we can do all those things. So if you see here, it's not just launching the website, we can also do assertions like my web, once when I launch my web page, the content of I can do assertions based on some of the contents in the website. And also we can collect custom metrics. So here if you see, we collect heap size and script time, which is not by default supported in Synthetics, and we can collect all these custom metrics also. So this script is based out of Google Puppeteer framework. So this is mm, let me change it to last one now. So if you see here, this is the time it took to load the website. It took 4.2 seconds to load the website. And also this is the various timings, like what is the first paint time, what is the first contentful paint time, and page load time. And this is the total bytes that were downloaded while launching the website. So this, we downloaded around 15 MB while launching the website. And if we go to resources, we will have multiple, basically we have resource timings on multiple dimensions. How many resource requests were sent and what was the HTTP response code. Here all the resources returned 2xx code. We have only one value. And also how much how much amount of image we downloaded, how much script we downloaded, and based also the number of requests based on type. And here we have the number of requests, transfer size, and time spent based on domain. Here in front-end developer Love, everything was loaded from single domain. Let me go to a different example. So here if you see, we load content from multiple domains, we get how much time was spent in downloading content from each domain. So with this we can get, if we are using any third-party scripts or third-party API calls, and if they are slow, we can easily identify which domain was slow. And if there is any major performance issues, let's say somebody included a new dependency which in turn download a lot of other things, we will also get to know, because there will be a change in the script size, etc. And apart from this, we will also get an idea about what were the top 10 slowest and largest resources, and whether they are compressed or cached, and what is the timings. So with this, if we have any largest resources which is not cached, we can go look at it and see, if you see there is a resource num.js which is not compressed or cached, so we can go fix it. So this will immediately give an idea how the website has been performing, right? And this is what we can do with the browser monitor. So if we talk about the journey, as we said earlier, the first thing that we start with is the uptime monitoring, which is we look at the availability and very basic HTTP performance metrics, SSL expiry, and some response data. Once we have this setup and running, we will next go to web performance monitoring. This is what we saw with a browser monitor. So where we record various page load performance metrics, user centric performance metrics, and resource metrics, and we look at the third party performance metrics, etc. And there is also waterfall chart for each run, so where we can go look at the individual timings of the various resources that we load, and if there is any particular resource which is really slow or which is blocking other resources from loading, etc., we can identify that. So we have this here. If you go to front end, so this is one single run. If you go to the single runs, so this will give an idea how much time it took to load individual resources. If you see, there is one poster which took a lot of time to download. So with this we can identify any the bottlenecks while loading the website. So once we have this web performance monitoring, the next step is we can easily move on to experience and create experience app for the same website, which will give you the real user data. So now we have real user data and also have synthetic data, and we can use synthetic data as a benchmark, and we can compare, and if there are any issues we can use this to compare, okay, how the synthetic environment has been performing, and how whether this the user real user performance matches the synthetic performance, etc. And once we have the basic uptime and web performance monitoring setup, so the next is basically putting the performance monitoring as part of the day-to-day development process and using it to improve the continuously improve and monitor and improve the performance. So this can be done by various things like competitive benchmarking, long-term trends, and defining the service level objective, and also the performance budgets for various parameters. So let's look at competitive benchmarking, right? So if we have set up monitors for with synthetic monitoring, we don't need to put any script or anything in the website, so we can monitor even the competitors websites with synthetic monitor. So once we have set up here I have a three monitors which actually monitors HC, HUT, and Zappos websites. And if you see, we have the page load time for over the 7 days for these three websites, and we can easily see, okay, there is a drop in the performance of Zappos.com recently, due to which the page load time has increased. So we can use this to compare how we fare against the competitors, and we can also create once we define the performance budgets. Let's say we have a budget like our page load time should be less than 4 seconds or something. We can go define alerts on that, and whenever the page load time crosses this, we will get alerted. So this is the next level of journey in performance monitoring, right? Front-end performance monitoring. And that's it. And thanks for joining us. And we have a free 30-day trial for Sematext Synthetics, and which you can try out. And if you have any queries, visit us at sematext.com or send us a tweet at Sematext. And thanks for joining and listening to the talk.
Nice. Woo. Well done, Siva. Went well. Congratulations. I see we have a question from Otis. Otis is asking, wait, I can pull it up on the screen. Do HTTP and browser monitor differ in terms of assertions one can create?
Yes. With HTTP monitor, you can create assertions on the response data. So let me show you an example. So let's take this uptime monitor that we created for front-end developer Love. So here we can create assertions based on response code, metric, SSL expiry, and also the response body, header, etc. And with browser monitor, there are two types of assertions we can create. One is based on the metrics and error and various metrics that we have. The other one is right in the script we can create assertions. For example, let me so here this is a sample script which logins to wikipedia.com, and we have an assertion whether after login the username should match whatever user I have logged in. So this is the other type of assertions that I can create right in the script, and this could be on any content in the website, and whenever this assertions failed, you will get alerted. Hope this explains.
Yeah, clear. Otis has another question. Do browser monitors capture screenshots only when there is an error, or do they always capture?
It always captures the screenshots. If you have it configured in the script, it will always capture, not just when there is an error. If you have it in the script, it will be always captured. So let's go look at the screenshot of. So yeah, this is what we have. It will always capture.
Nice, clear. Well, if there are no other questions, I would really like to thank you for making your time today to educate all of us and the front-end community. We hope to receive you again in the future sometime. If you want to do so.
Looking forward for it. Yeah.
Can people also contact you on Twitter or somewhere else in case they have other questions related to your talk?
Sure, they can contact me at Sematext Twitter handle, and we will be responding. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, Siva, thank you very much. All the viewers, thank you very much for joining us today. We will publish this video right after this broadcast. Will be on our YouTube channel. You can find it under Frontend Love Virtual Meetups, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you very much, Siva.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, guys. Thank you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Bye.